The story of Elisa Lam's death at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles is one of the most well-known true crime mysteries of the last decade. Elisa Lam was a Canadian college student who checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 28, 2013, for a 3-night stay. During her stay, Lam's known activity was limited. She changed from a shared room to a single, visited a bookstore, returned back to the hotel, and then vanished. Her disappearance sparked a massive search effort, and her body was eventually found in one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. The circumstances surrounding Lam's death were mysterious and disturbing. The hotel had a long history of violence and crime, and many people believe that Lam's death was the result of foul play. However, the investigation revealed that Lam had previously been diagnosed with an extreme form of bipolar disorder and had suffered mental breakdowns where she became delusional. The autopsy report also revealed that Lam had no drugs or alcohol in her system at the time of her death. The case of Elisa Lam's death has been the subject of much speculation and conspiracy theories. Some people believe that the hotel is haunted and that Lam's death was the result of supernatural forces. Others believe that the hotel is a hotbed of criminal activity and that Lam was the victim of a serial killer or other violent criminal. However, the most likely explanation for Lam's death is that it was the result of a tragic accident or suicide. The story of Elisa Lam's death is just one of many real-life scary stories that exist in the world. Here are a few more. Jack the Ripper. Few real-life scary tales are as well known as Jack the Ripper. Jack was an enigmatic serial killer who was notorious for slaughtering several London prostitutes in 1888. Jack's murders were carried out in Whitechapel, but his identity is a mystery, and he was never brought to justice for his crimes. Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman who was accused of torturing and killing young girls in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. She was eventually convicted of 80 counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Delphine LaLaurie. Delphine LaLaurie was a socialite who lived in New Orleans in the early 19th century. In 1834, a fire broke out in her mansion, and firefighters discovered a terrible sight. LaLaurie had imprisoned many of her slaves in her attic, where she had been torturing and mutilating them. The Axe Murder House. The Axe Murder House is a real-life haunted house in Villisca, Iowa. In 1912, 8 people, including 6 children, were brutally murdered in the house with an axe. The killer was never caught, and the house is said to be haunted by the spirits of the victims. Latoya Ammons and her family. In 2014, the Indianapolis Star published a report on a family terrorized by 3 children, allegedly possessed by demons. The account of Latoya Ammons and her family tells disturbing stories of children climbing up the walls, getting thrown across rooms, and speaking in demonic voices. These real-life scary stories are just a few examples of the many terrifying tales that exist in the world. While they may be unsettling, they also serve as a reminder that truth can be scarier than fiction.